You know, I was thinking, been spending a lot of time talking to the white population about how they voted, right? And said, we told you so. We've been spending a lot of time talking to the Latino population, the Hispanic population, okay? Saying, I told you so. You know who we haven't talked to? And it belongs to every group and every culture and every ethnicity? Those between the ages of 18 and 34. Oh yeah. See, you guys are the number ones that have children right now, right? Yeah. You have children, little young children. You might be thinking about starting a family. Might just end up having to start a family, right? You need that Medicaid, right? Because that's going to help you. Especially if, you know, in this younger generation, you understand, the man has a tendency to question if that's his child or not, right? Now, it happened in the other generations as well. But I'm just speaking for the purpose of this video. A lot of single parents, especially in those red states and blue states. But red states because you make the least amount of money. Huh? Most people will be making minimum wage. I mean, I don't know. $15 an hour might be something in red states that have a minimum wage of $7.25 an hour and has not been raised and will not be raised. And so now, along with the Medicaid cuts of $700 billion, there's also SNAP cuts. So those between the ages of 18 and 34 that said you weren't going to vote for Kamala Harris, you'd even started questioning whether she was black or not, as if that had seemed to have had any kind of bearing on whether you was going to put food on your table or not. Because as it stands right now, my love, this administration is taking the food off of your table. Case in point, $267 billion in SNAP cuts, along with the tariffs. Now, if Walmart happens to be the store that's in your neighborhood because you primarily have a food desert, you're in a rural area and they're only big box stores because that's really the only place that provided you with jobs, that and Amazon. Yeah. So you know, since Walmart is going to have to raise their prices, they will also be laying off people. Are you some of the same ones that said these immigrants were the ones that were coming to take your job? Seem like homeboy got a lot to do with your job coming up missing, not the immigrants. Dude on Dark Hill. Yeah. I'm just asking. It's just a little something to make you say, And then I think about the ones that sat at home. I'm not voting for this. He's too old. Well, you got an old one that's about to be 79, my love. Next month. So that couldn't have been it. And he certainly is not bringing down the cost of food because these tariffs are making the food go up. And if Walmart is the only place and you don't have a car, and their food prices go up and your SNAP benefits getting cut and your WIC is out the door and there's no more fresh food coming to the food pantries, what are you going to do? What are you going to do for your children and for yourself? And you do know that along with the SNAP cuts also comes the fact that no, you can no longer buy any type of chips, soda, or candy, or any type of junk food, and they will decide what the junk food is. Yes, and for those that happen to be living in food deserts, and the corner store is the only place that you can go, and you don't have a car to get to Walmart, and that's really primarily how you feeding your kids with the little burritos and stuff like that, or whatever the case may be, what you gonna do? And were you one of the ones that sat at home and like, I ain't got time for this? Because you sure enough should have been out there. And by the way, this does take effect January 1st, 2026. You got 6 months. Now, trust and believe me, And mark my words, what's getting ready to come next is exactly what they did during the Clinton era. Okay, when there was so-called welfare reform, if that happens to be your thing, and I'm just putting it in context, okay, putting it into context, where you could really only have like 2 children, and I think that came along with the Reagan era too, I can't remember, but there was so-called welfare reform, and you could only have X amount of children, and you could only be on aid for no more than 5 years, and then you were kicked off, and that means everything that comes with it. So baby, I'm going to ask you, what are you doing to ensure that you have a better life, not only for yourself, but for your children? Huh? Think about those who didn't vote. But I'm not voting for this and I'm not going to vote at all. Even though people paved the way for them to be able to have that freedom of speech, you let that go. The civil rights, you let that go. Yeah. All of the safety nets, programs that were in place to help you and myself and the elderly and research and cancer and all that. Yeah, you let that go. All the things that people fought for, you let slip by the wayside because you was feeling a hair in your butt for whatever reason. Well, now here we are, baby. See if you continue to vote for something that keeps taking away from you. Because loyalty to a political party, or somebody screaming out racial rhetoric, or the wanting to fight, is not going to put food on your table. In fact, it is taking it away as we speak. Now, I've said my piece. And y'all go ahead and have a good rest of your day. And you think about what I said. Power to the people. All right, 92. All right, 80. Indeed.